Welcome to another Friday episode of Hold the Mic, where facts matter more than feelings. Do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Hold the Mic. We are your hosts. I'm Ryan Shead, that's Ian Sherman. Brother, how are you doing?
What up? Better now. Thank you for that surprise, man. That's what's up.
That was good, right?
I see you've been busy. I see you've been busy in the production side of things.
Yeah, it's been a week. But no, well worth it. Definitely getting into making the show more professional, more wrapped up, better production. And of course, shout out to our sponsor, Christian Ortiz and Mod Atlas Media, for doing all of our graphics for us and allowing us to improve our show. So big shout out. You can check him out at modatlas.com.
That's
I
right.
believe it is. And also go check out Justice AI. I know we're probably going to talk about it again in the show.
Ooh.
But we just dropped an episode with Christian Ortiz, and we spent an hour outlining Justice AI and what it can do. And it's just another reason why we're so proud to have him here sponsoring the show.
It's absolutely amazing. I was blown away. I mean, and we still have that special to come out, and it's really amazing. And guys, we don't normally talk about this. Is go check out our social media because we do clips of this show, and we try to find some of the best clips to have those moments with you guys, so you guys can literally grab them and give them to your friends. Let them know what's going on here. But definitely, welcome to the show. Happy Friday.
Yeah, more digestible, hopefully.
More digestible.
Man, but hey, we're what?
Well.
So we've got this show and one more show, and then it's
vacation.
Time to vote. Hopefully.
You say that, but I'm voting this weekend. I'm going.
Yeah, I know. That's what you said last show. Yeah.
Wife and I have a plan. We just talked about it, so it's get up and go. We go early, and I've done that for years. I just like the vibe better. So, and then it's done.
Yeah. So how do you feel right now going into this? Do you feel positive? Do you feel more pessimistic? Like, how do you think it's going?
I'm not pessimistic about it. I do think it's quite telling to see some of the moves that are being made right now. Charlie Kirk was in charge of the ground game, and I look at some of the moves that were there, position wise played. So Laura Trump, let's just start from the beginning. Laura Trump takes over from the RNC, and she's now at the head where she's handling the purse. She's taking that purse and she's not going down ballot. By not doing down ballot, she's giving most of the majority of that money to Trump and his legal fees. So now they don't have money for the grassroots, for the ground game.
Right.
Ground game is what really does some of the most damage for anybody, and it wins elections, right? So that's the bread and butter, but for some reason they went against it. So that to me was a red flag, or I'd say a yellow flag, where I said, okay, they're focused on something else, and that something else is going to come later on down the line. Well, Charlie Kirk came in, and he was like, okay, I'll handle the ground game because I have the social media aspect of things. And so what I'll do is I'll get you the followers, the likes, I'll get all the people to build a new grassroots movement, conservative grassroots movement.
Yeah.
Well, they switched him out three weeks before an election. So that's now, if you do the math, that's a week ago. Okay. In comes Elon Musk to now take over that ground game. And here his goofy ass is jumping up and down the stage and then now offering lottos and everything for all these constituents that are out there. So this is the game switch up that they did. And this is the move that they did. So now he's offering money and he's now in it. That seems like a cry this is desperate. This is really getting desperate.
Well, we're going to spend a lot of the show talking about Elon Musk, unfortunately, and we're going to show just how desperate he is.
In that context, that's something where my head's at, where I'm like, they didn't fund their down ballot, they didn't fund their grassroots. They now have this billionaire who has literally dumped in 114 million since beginning of the year for Trump. 73 in the last 3 months alone. And then the super PAC that's now doing the funding for these millionaires. So looking at that, and then looking at the name of the game that they're trying to play in all the courts already.
Yeah.
A lot of their money is going towards the legal side of things. So I do think, go ahead.
No, well, I'm just going to say, speaking of, money and legal things. So this is Scott Pressler, who today pled guilty to, I think he pled guilty. Yeah. But he's going to prison for a little while. Or
Which one is Scott?
no, he's not
Scott
going
in
to
the
prison.
blazer and the dress. Which one?
The guy in the blazer, I don't think he's going to prison. I think he got probation and some other stuff. But yeah, he just got hit for election fraud. And I always love putting pictures up of the Trumps with people committing election fraud.
Absolutely.
You know? So, you know, just again, this is the co-chair of the Republican Party who controls the purse strings, proudly standing with somebody committing election fraud.
There it is. There
again.
It is.
So, you know, just wanted to put that up there and, you know, remind folks that.
That's Laura Trump right there?
That's Laura Trump.
The dress? Wow.
Yeah, that's her.
They're sharing notes about who has better hair. Here we go.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's Scott.
I think it is Scott.
Yeah, he blocked me last year. He doesn't like truth. He doesn't like the truth.
I don't believe it. I mean, I can believe what you're saying, you know. Ryan, I have to say, man, it's like Chicken Little. You were on this mountaintop screaming for a long time about some of these folks, and some of those Ryan rants, I was like, nah, this guy's going a little crazy. He's going a little off the rocker. A lot of the shit you said, you're more like, you know, Nostradamus, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot of shit is coming to fruition.
You know, I hate to say no, I don't. I really do like to say I told you so. I told you. Yeah. I freaking told you. I've been telling you. And again, I know there's so many people out there that thought I was over the top. I was, you know, doing it for the clicks. I'm terrified of this dude.
Yeah.
Like, he has way too much power and he is evil. He is straight up evil. More and probably even more dangerous is he goes whichever way the wind blows. Whichever way.
Opportunist. He's opportunist.
Oh, he's a total opportunist.
Yeah.
You know, like it is insane what we're seeing. The amount of billionaires right now that are actively trying to hurt Kamala Harris going into voting, you know, or as voting's happening, is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
You know,
and they're funding the legal game. They're getting ready for a legal fight. That's the thing where the money is now starting to talk.
Yep.
And but to answer you, I still feel very confident in Kamala. And the reason why I say that is because the people are with Kamala. I'm not worried about the fringe. I'm not worried about the far right nor the far left at this moment in time. I'm thinking about the number of people who want some normalcy. They want this country to get back to being united again. And they want to get back to arguing about policy, not this made up global policing versus the you're gonna trap my daughter in a bathroom with some man. All this crazy shit that they're all just trying to yell at each other for. It's like, how about we talk about who's budgeting for this country to move forward? So I have A, childcare, B, still Social Security, and D, a road I can drive my child to.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the basics of running a country.
I'll take it a step further. I look forward to getting back to being able to shitpost on a regular basis. Like, I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I used to love posting, like, the fail videos of, like, you know, people running into a freaking tree, riding a bike, you know, trying to skateboard down stairs. Like, I used to love that. But now I wake up every day and I feel this impending sense of doom because we don't know what's coming. We don't know if Trump's going to win or lose. And that keeps me up at night.
So that's you right now. That's you. You're feeling it.
Yeah. My sleep has been affected probably for the last week.
Well, let me say this to you as a positive. So say Trump wins. Our show got a whole lot more important.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely going to be busy for the next 4 years.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Harris
Which
wins,
I do not want, by the way.
You don't want to see me?
I'm going to see you either way. I'm not interested in that at all.
If Harris wins, this show is going to be a lot more open to have actual discussion, critique
about things that matter,
structure about things that actually matter on a local level.
Yep.
We'll be able to really work with our fans about things that they're seeing on their local districts, which we would really like to push for. Yep. You guys writing to us about topics that you're seeing that you want addressed. Those are things I see this show going with the Kamala administration. With the Trump administration, I think it's gonna be a lot of us going through with a fine comb of trying to really unearth a lot of the bullshit like we're witnessing right now unfold.
It'll be a weekly fact check.
It really would be.
That's literally all it'll be. And again, I'm good. This episode is literally going to probably be me just repeating myself. This is terrifying. The fact that this is even a race is mind blowing to me. Like, I think half the country has CTE or something. Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't trust those polls. And I mean that in the context.
It's not just the polls, dude. It's not just the poll. I'm really not paying attention to the polls. Like, the fact that the right wing is having to use betting odds as their polls tells you that the polls aren't really worth shit.
Right.
You know, and by the way, all the polls are not really showing Donald Trump, like, you know, killing her. The reason they're using betting odds is because all of the legitimate polls aren't showing Trump, you know, way ahead. They're showing him trailing her. Right. And at best,
trying to match it up.
Yeah, match it up. But like the last poll I used, it was a plus or minus 9 was the margin of error. And I'm like, in her favor. No. It had it in Trump's favor. And I said, but it's a plus or minus margin of 9. I said, so if you shift that the other way, I go, then Trump's at 42%, and I go, and Kamala's at 49. Like, it's all in how you perceive a poll. You can skew the numbers and make a graph to make everybody think something, but you got to read the fine print.
Right.
Like a plus or minus margin of fucking almost 10? What kind of poll is that?
Yeah.
We're within 10%.
Those are called drinking games. Okay, that's what that is.
They probably have better odds.
What I mean? I used to do that in the club when I was striking out. All right. I was like, my God. Plus or minus. My numbers are looking okay. That's what that is.
See, and polls told us Hillary was winning. But here's the thing. Hillary did win. She won the popular vote. And if you're polling people, that's the poll. That's what you're getting. Right. So technically, the polls weren't wrong. Hillary did win by 2.8 million. Right. It was the Electoral College that screwed us. So, you know, again, it's just interpretation of everything. You have to look at everything. You know, we all have our biases. I have my bias. It's hard sometimes. You have to look at the very fine print, because the fine print shouldn't give a shit what side you're on.
Right. It's so true.
I wish I agreed. The world is a big place. Powers outside of the West have aspirations. Oh, I mean, if you don't think that there is foreign influence on this election, you're insane.
It's so good to witness seeing China, Iran, Russia, and Republicans. I'm sorry, you guys. You have to get your head out of your ass and understand something. They're all in this game to literally disrupt this entire election, and they just want us fighting each other. It's not, Iran's with this person and that Russia's with that person. It's not like that. They all have the same agenda. Take us down. That's it. We are not a threat if we are having a civil war. Plain and simple.
Correct.
And right now, what their agenda is, what they are trying to do, they need us off the playing field. And that's the thing that I'm really watching. And then seeing who's in bed with who. It's like, okay, well, here we go. Yeah,
we're definitely seeing who's in bed with who right now.
Yeah.
You know, and by the way, I just want to talk about, because I think it's going on right now, actually, at the same time we're on. But Joe Rogan is having Donald Trump on his podcast. And of course, it's perfect. They waited until, a week and a half out, 2 weeks out?
Right.
So it's perfect timing to have him go on, you know, arguably the biggest podcast out there.
But my question for you is that Joe Rogan has been historically rooting for Kamala with a lot of his content. He has been very, let me just say, he's leaning more towards Kamala, where he's talking about a number of policies. He goes, this would be great for the country. And then he goes, what is this guy doing? So let's see what the interview is.
Let's see how it goes. If Joe Rogan actually hits him with some hard questions, which I doubt, because I have a feeling that everything will have been cleared through his team before Joe even gets to say anything. But more importantly, I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. If you're pro Kamala, then fuck you for giving him the largest platform in the world.
Yeah, but isn't there enough time for Kamala to get on the same show?
They haven't invited her.
Or is there talk that they won't be doing it?
That part I have no idea.
I'm going to wait and see on that one, because I know that, it should be for both of them.
Depends on what the agenda is.
But it also is, it's playing to your base.
You know, Joe Rogan loves Elon Musk. Elon Musk is giving away $1 million a day plus $100 per signature on petitions in Pennsylvania. So, you know.
But what are these petitions? What are you?
The America Pact, something, I don't even know what the fucking petition is. It's really all it is it's a information collecting thing, but they don't look at that.
The group chat is saying that Kamala declined to do Joe Rogan. If that's the case,
not surprised.
If that's the case, then she shot herself in the foot.
Why do you say that?
You got to meet people where they're at, and if you have the highest base on a podcast, you got to go there. You got to go get your message out there, And it's one of those things where she needs to put herself out there and really just reach out to people. One thing I love about this election is that they're using more podcasts. To me, it's meeting people where they're at, and if Kamala's going to do that, don't do what Hillary did, and this is going to be very direct. Don't do what Hillary did, where you think I can skip this, these 3 states, right? Don't think in that context of I can skip this podcast, because you're reaching people that you don't know. You might say the right thing that they needed to hear. And I say that to you because I see this show having that effect on certain people. Not the ones that, you go, ham on and they, run with their wigs and all that stuff. Not those. But the ones where they actually come in here to actually like just question this show. And they're conservative or they're moderate conservative. And then they hear what you and I have to say and they go, they're not bullshitting me. You come in with receipts. We talk logically about this stuff. It's not just dog walking. Conservatives just a dog walk them. No. There are certain focus points that we're like, no, that's common sense. I can get behind common sense. I can't get behind, identity politics where we're trying to attack each other for something where I'm like, okay, now you're losing me here, So that's what I wonder if she's going to walk away from that platform. Is she walking away from just that one voice that she needed to reach out to?
No, that's a good perspective. I still think Joe Rogan's a piece of shit for platforming a felon, a rapist, an accused pedophile, domestic terrorist that tried to overtake the government January 6th, that currently refuses to say that the same thing won't happen or that he'll condemn the same thing. So, Joe Rogan, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I will say to you that he still has a boss, and it comes down to ratings,
Oh, but that's the problem. These people, they talk all this shit, right? Especially the Joe Rogan types.
Yeah.
But then if you're gonna cower like a little bitch and do something you shouldn't, all because you have a boss or because you have shareholders,
right?
Then you're just as much a pussy as the rest of them. So shut the fuck up. See, now I'm gonna say what the fuck I want, and I don't give a shit because I don't have a boss.
We don't have a boss. That's right.
And I'm gonna keep it that way because I'm not gonna platform a fucking rapist because some piece of shit billionaire says you should have that guy on. No, I'll pass. Thanks. He was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It was substantiated by witnesses.
Yeah.
So you can say what you want.
We need to really hold on to the fact that he's running for president because he wants to stay out of jail.
Oh, and that's another thing. I'll never fucking forgive Republicans for running this guy again.
Yeah.
You're running this guy for president after he tried to overthrow the government. And every one of you motherfuckers, we have tape of you standing on the floor of the Senate floor in Congress condemning what had happened because you were all in fear of your freaking life that night.
Right.
But as time goes on, apparently you all forget about that. Because now you all are back to kissing this guy's ass, and I don't understand it because you sure as fuck aren't putting the country first.
Well, I should show you the definition of cuckold because that's what the Republican Party is.
Like, it's not a joke.
No, but that's who they are.
Truth.
That's who they are at this point.
Like, they're such pussies, and they sit there and they call themselves patriots and alpha males and all this shit. It's like every guy that calls themselves that are the biggest fucking pussies and posers and cowards and fucking sexual abusers. Look at Tate, that fucking Andrew Tate douchebag. Everybody looks at him like he's this big alpha male. He's out there fucking raping little girls, getting arrested, and these people are still lifting him up like he's some big shot. He's a fucking nobody. He's a loser. Like, why would anybody listen to this dumb fuck? You watch him puff on his big fucking cigars like a douchebag and say all the shit that he says, and all the really weak men out there that couldn't handle a real woman are sitting there going, "Yay, Andrew! Oh, I love this guy." You're fucking, oh my God.
Which we got to ask the question about our youth, because
and they're voting.
Young men.
They're voting.
Young men who are literally, which is interesting to see why the demographics are. All these women who are becoming more educated are voting for Democrats or for Kamala Harris, rightfully so. And then you're watching all these young men who are running to this fake machismo.
Yeah.
And I just had this conversation with somebody where they were talking about how, Trump really will be able to get all these world leaders to back down. And I go, no, he won't.
He won't.
They won't. They're twisting him around their finger. They know exactly how to
Putin
play
would
this
flick him
fool.
off the chessboard like
Kamala played him on a debate stage. She literally went on the attack and he had no idea. Now imagine if you killed him with compliment. You would completely own the situation with this man. And that's where I look at Elon Musk, where I'm like, he can never become president because he is a immigrant. But at the same time, you get inside that cabinet and you do the work that Donald Trump doesn't want to do. Now we got something different on our hands.
Which is exactly what's been proposed, by the way. Like, they've already proposed him having, like, a cabinet position and starting a whole new portion of the government. That should terrify everybody.
Just like your girl, Eileen Cannon, who's on a short list for AG.
Yep.
Like, guys, I hope you're paying attention.
I'm telling you.
I hope you're paying attention.
If you were paying attention, you would have an ulcer by now. Like,
no. You just be doing more push-ups. Get ready for the fight. That's all I'm saying to you.
Shit. You could still do more push-ups and still have an ulcer fucking worrying about this. It's just, again, we're on episode 39 of this show. Yeah. And I look back and you take out the Ryan rants and we really do try to be, as objective as possible. And that's something that I think we both kind of pride ourselves in, is being able to just kind of like, yeah, we have our biases and yeah, we're definitely liberals, but we can still see the other side. And this is one of those times where I just want to grab my fellow Americans by the shoulders and shake the shit out of them. And just like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I've brought receipts. I've brought court documents. We've brought photos. We have videos. We have audio tapes. It's like, how many women need to come forward and accuse this guy of sexually abusing them? How many times does this guy have to get? How many times does he have to get busted for fraud for them to be like, you know what? Maybe he's a criminal.
I'm starting to think that he is completely backed by the entire establishment. The same establishment he talks about, draining the swamp.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
He's too deep in with the banks, which then are too deep in with the fact of dark money, which are too deep into the fact of, you think about all the accountants, all the people that then go into tech bros. Like, he's too embedded in the system that if he fails, they fail.
Yep.
And if he fails, think about that, because
Elon Musk the same thing.
Head. You know what I mean? And it's that fail mentality. Elon is not a genius. He's not. The one thing I will give him and Trump, they are showmen.
Yep.
They are the modern day Thomas Edisons. They are literally the ones who are about being on stage and saying, look what I've created. And you're like, but you didn't actually create that. And they go, look over here.
Yep.
Look over here. Don't worry about that. Look over here.
Look at this next thing I'm doing.
Look at this next thing I'm doing. Oh, I bought Twitter.
And Elon really does do that with like, but look what we're doing with SpaceX. Forget about all those Tesla recalls. Look at this rocket we just shot.
Not even that. It literally came out 24 hours later. There was a dude with a joystick controlling the robot and everything else. And they're like, well, we got this going on. And it's like,
it's another con.
Didn't Nikola just get busted for having a remote control truck that they were trying to sell? Talking about this is the new hydro blah, blah, blah truck that can do all these things. It's all bullshit. But he's like, this is what the next possibilities are. And it's like, the way he says it, you can't hold him to it.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah. I think, again, because I spend so much time on his platform a day, that's why I'm so hyper aware of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like I spend way more time on there than most people. Yeah. So, I spend a lot of time seeing what he's posting and seeing the agenda. And it's just, again, going back to what did a lot of liberals say, including myself, when he stepped up to buy this? That would be a huge mistake, that he would use it in nefarious ways. And what has he done? He's done everything he said he wouldn't.
Right.
Like, he's literally made it so that if you block somebody, they can still see your post and screenshot it and go post it on their stuff and send people after you. So the block feature doesn't work anymore. And then he made it so that you can't see who likes a post. For example, if somebody posts some really nasty racist shit, people are going to see it, but they're not going to like it, even if they do, because they know that people can see them liking it.
Right.
Now, if you have a platform where you want a bunch of misinformation and bias and racist shit getting spread, and you want it to get liked a lot, and you don't want people to be able to see it,
so you still need those endorphins. You still need all that kick.
So it's like now people feel like they can like that shit because nobody's going to see it. Somebody like me can't go and just click a button and say, oh, here, do I follow anybody that likes this disgusting shit? I can't even do that anymore.
Right.
So, we've lost all control over our following. We used to be able to see who unfollowed us every day, who followed us. We used to be able to really interact with our following. And he took all of that away. He took Bot Sentinel away, which was a program that you could put into your internet browser that would tell you if an account was problematic or not on a literal percentage scale. And what it's telling you is how many bot accounts are following said account. So, for example, when Elon Musk took it away, his account was at 55%. That means 55% of the 203 million followers that Elon Musk has were all bots.
Wow.
He doesn't want anybody to be able to see that. He doesn't want anybody to be able to see who's liking the racist misinformation bullshit.
Right.
He's doing all of this on purpose. It's all been by design. He has lied the entire step of the way. He said just back in March that he wasn't going to donate to any candidate. Now he has the America PAC that's donating $100 million to Donald Trump a month, on top of giving away $1 million a day to some random person, on top of giving away $100 per signature for a Second Amendment, a First and Second Amendment petition.
Right.
But again, now let me ask you this. What would happen if George Soros came out and started giving away $1 million a day to just some random person?
Please.
What would happen if because they literally used to say that George Soros was handing out $100 a day to people like me to post our stuff. Now, here Elon is literally handing out $100 a day for your signature.
Yeah.
But nobody has a problem with that. Nobody's questioning the legality of this.
You know what I hope? I hope a whole bunch of Democrats go ahead and get that money because, grifter's going to grift.
Oh, I'm sure they're checking to make sure you're a Republican.
Don't give him too much credit, man.
Oh, well, again, let me know when I start being wrong about this guy.
Hey, you tell no lies, brother. You tell no lies.
And again, I'm not the only one saying it.
No.
People like Mark Cuban, they're out here saying what needs to be said. Those are the billionaires that you can at least have some respect for.
Mark Cuban, I have to say, is a gift to America.
He's really used his platform this election, and yeah, I definitely.
He understands what his voice is, and he's going to the spots that he needs to go to get the word out there about what this one big massive grift is. He is really calling it all out, and I really appreciate him.
Yep, me too. Because clearly we don't have enough rich people right now doing the right thing.
No.
So while we're on the topic of Elon, let's discuss the big news that came out today. So Elon Musk was apparently having conversations with Russia's Vladimir Putin for the last 2 years.
Oh, Pooty. Would this technically be considered colluding since he works for the Trump campaign?
Yes. And more importantly, it really does make him a domestic terrorist. So, he actually asked the question once, if we knew what the punishment for treason was in America. And I said, yeah, I do. And I was like, and here's the outline showing that you're the motherfucker that's actually breaking the law. So maybe it's you that should be punished for treason. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like, we are literally watching people trying to overtake our government and purchase our presidency and do it for a foreign government. Like, again, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is literally what we're watching.
This shit is getting aired out. And I text you earlier when this came out, and I go, is this Logan Act also? And then you wrote to me back.
Possible Hatch Act violation.
Let everybody know what that is.
So, Hatch Act violation basically means that nobody that has a position in the federal government should be engaging in any type of political activity. Mm-hmm. That's the very rough explanation of it. But now, the issue I see with Musk is he technically a federal employee?
And that's what I was trying to get at.
Or is he simply a federal contractor? And
like a third-party freelancer almost.
Exactly. And if he is a contractor, do federal contractors still technically fall under the Hatch Act, which I think they actually do? And if so, he absolutely just violated the Hatch Act.
But that versus the Logan Act, where he has relationships with world leaders, he's talking about world issues, 3 citizenships, has federal clearance, so he sees classified documents.
Government
contracts. He's getting all these subsidies from our government in the billions, mind you, with SpaceX and everything else. Even Tesla, billions of dollars were given to Tesla.
Taxpayer dollars.
Taxpayer dollars, getting it to the point that it is for the last 10 years, because they almost went under a number of times. And it was your taxpayer dollars that kept it afloat.
Yep.
So when you think about all this, and then now you see all his issues about everybody else who's coming to go eat his lunch in the EV market, but you see all this, and then you look at his connection to Putin, and then you line it up to the moves that he was making, stopping Taiwan from having his Starlight network, looking at how he's been throttling Ukraine from having that network during this war. And then you're thinking to yourself, so you're sitting here having lunch with Putin, talking to him on the phone. And then you all of a sudden kind of just like put your hand on the scale in the war in Ukraine because you don't want nukes to be used if they use your technology to start winning the war. Starlink, that's the name of the company. So I'm trying to figure out how this all plays out, because you're undermining literally the American movement, being whatever president is there, because you're trying to now make deals on the side.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been saying it for months. Elon Musk is a direct threat to our national security. Like, it's not a joke. It's a freaking fact. And the sooner the powers that be actually grow a pair and start, arresting these people and prosecuting them, they're going to continue to run rampant and do what they're doing.
Does it make more sense that why he said on Tucker Carlson's whatever show that if Kamala wins, he's going to be arrested?
Oh, it's making total sense now.
It's almost like by the way,
I'm glad you said that. Can I point something else out too? So Tucker Carlson, if you remember, about 6 months or so ago, he did an interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
On what platform?
On X, he has an exclusive contract with Elon Musk and X. It was the first exclusive contract that Elon Musk gave out.
That's right.
And within a month or so of getting that contract, he ends up in Russia doing an interview with Vladimir Putin on Elon Musk's platform.
To sell the Russian
exclusively, by the way, on that platform.
Russia has bread. Oh, look at their bread.
So it's like
grocery stores. Oh,
it's like, wow, this shit really does make sense. And then you look at who else does he give a contract to? He gives a contract to Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Now, if you're running a platform and you're claiming to be about, you can be about free speech and not hire conspiracy theorists and people who've been proven in court to just be flat out liars and entertainers.
Wait, does Alex still have a job there?
Yeah, he's still posting shit.
You know who doesn't?
Who?
Don Lemon.
Yep. And all because he asked a couple of tough questions.
One interview with the head honcho boss himself.
And he shut it down early.
Canceled.
Yep. And he shut the interview down early too.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I really, I had my suspicions, But watching that was that's when I really knew he's not just on drugs. He has a serious drug problem.
Yeah.
And he can't control that.
No.
And listen, he may be autistic. He may have Asperger's syndrome. I understand that. However, I do not think that gives him a free reign to do what he's doing.
No, and there's no cure for asshole syndrome.
Yeah, like I know people. I know people that have Asperger's syndrome, and they manage not to be trying to overthrow the government and shit like that. It's like, are we really going to excuse this stuff away? But it's the same type of thing they do with Trump. They find any way possible to excuse stuff away, and it's like if you prove Elon Musk wrong, that's always their last go-to. Well, so you're attacking a guy. You're attacking a guy with autism, and I'm like, but I'm not attacking his autism. I'm attacking his actions. And the actions that I'm attacking have nothing to do with him being autistic. What are you trying to excuse away? I don't understand. You know what I mean?
I said what I said. He's an asshole.
Oh, he's straight up asshole.
There's no cure for it. And there's nothing you're gonna do. I don't care what's there.
Speaking of assholes, so
I love the segue.
Thank you. So they have TMZ or somebody released video footage. They're walking with Mel Gibson at the airport.
Oh no.
Yeah, and
can y'all please leave Mel alone? We know where he stands in life.
And he just reminded us again. So
what shit did he say this?
He was walking basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said that Kamala Harris was as dumb as a fence post, and dude, it was so bad. Oh, and people are talking about it, and I go in the comments and I'm like, yeah, the racist fucking drunk. We kind of figured we knew where he stood. Are you really surprised?
I didn't even have to look for him. Can we just let him go with him screaming out freedom? Can we just let that be his moment?
It was all downhill after that, wasn't it?
You know what I mean? It was. I give him the Christ movie. I give him that Passion of Christ. He funded it himself. And he made that movie happen. I give him a lot of credit in Hollywood for that.
Yeah, but I can't watch it now because not only is he a douchebag, but the Henry Cavill or whatever the fuck his name is. I wanted
to give him so much Jesus Christ. His name is JC also. I wanted them to have their moment as faithful, men of faith, whatever. I just love the idea that it's one of those things where it's like, if you build it, they will come kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, nah, you called every evangelical and every racist to your corner, so I get it. You built it, and they came. That's what it is. So you're solid. But yeah, I don't need to know where Mel Gibson stands. When I hear his name, I go, some bullshit. You already know what's coming, man.
Danny Glover's probably sitting somewhere and be like, this motherfucker.
he's can't tell him no shit with this motherfucker.
Can't take shit. But no, so it's just, so I just do find it interesting that Tucker Carlson was sent over there to do a fluff piece on Putin, and Alex Jones is still, pushing his conspiracy theories, and Elon Musk is allowing it. So.
But and the thing that gets me is that these are some of the weakest men.
They really are.
You're literally selling snake venom and bullshit, and some of them in a bow tie, right? And you're like, you're not this idea of anything alpha, whatever this ideology you have. Tucker Carlson was just on a conservative platform speaking about spanking girls.
Bro.
And I sat there and I thought to myself, what the fuck are you doing right now? Do you hear yourself? And it was cringe. It clearly was very targeted at women because it could have been very gender neutral about just your child and just trying to keep your children in order, which I think in a context, you and I, what we talk about of like our kids, and I sit here and I go, I negotiate with this little motherfucker and I save this clip and give it to my son in 18 years. This little motherfucker. All right. I'm telling you right now, he's trying to test the system. But when I look at you, what's up, Brian? When I look at you,
when Dad gets home, you know what?
Can you hear it?
Yes.
You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, It's not going to hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not going to lie. This is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me.
Sounds like you enjoy
And
it.
you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl. And it has to be this way.
Only the girls?
It has to be this way because it's true. And you're only going to get better when you take responsibility for what you did. That's not said in the spirit of hate. It's not said in the spirit of vengeance or bigotry. Far from it. It's said in the spirit of justice, which is the purest and best thing there is.
Physically.
And without it, things fall apart.
You know he pays for sex. There's just something about the way he talks that I'm just like.
The fact that was the first thing you said.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't doubt it. No.
And I don't mean it in like I'm not taking any shots at any sex workers. Love you. I see you. More power to you. But you know what I mean? Like there's something there where it's like, you pay for this shit.
Yeah. No doubt. I can't believe you just said that.
You know better with me, goddammit. You know better.
I do.
I'm still looking for that clip about Chrissy Nome from last week.
Oh my God. Brian just said he's bisexual. B-U-Y. Sexual. I've never heard that before.
I dig it.
Spank me and call me Tuckums. But I mean, again, I wasn't going to show a minute and a half, 2 minutes of this dude talking, but like Ian said, right before that, he was talking about kids in general.
Yeah.
So for him to pivot to say that just about girls, it's like sometimes you just fuck up. You know what I mean? And you let it slip. And I think that's what it was. It was one of those moments. Like
of letting the inner thoughts come out.
Yeah. He's grooming a kid somewhere.
Oh, he's grooming. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Come here. You've been bad. But no.
He's like a real creepy, and I'm sorry to put disrespect on Mr. Rogers, but he's a real creepy Mr. Rogers. You know, he's that one is like, you ain't on my block like that. No.
Yeah.
You're checking to see if he's a sex offender. If you see someone like Chris, what's his name? Tucker, moving into your neighborhood. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Terrible.
No, I can't. He's so cringe.
Pat said, God damn, Ian.
What's up, Pat?
Oh, man.
You're saying that because you know it's true.
So real quick before we move on, I wanted to take a second and go through Elon Musk's timeline.
Can we take a second, y'all? Can we do this? Can we do this together?
Because I think because I see this every day, maybe that's why, the hair on my neck stands up. So maybe if you see what this dude's promoting, maybe it'll help you a little bit. And again, I just want to point out that I find it interesting that the people fear-mongering for immigrants, the loudest, happen to be immigrants themselves. And some of them, like Elon, used to be illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
So, that's the other thing. I don't understand. He's sitting there fear-mongering. It's like, dude, you're literally advocating against yourself. Like, you make yourself look stupid.
Well, I've noticed the conservative way is to pull the ladder up behind you.
Pull it up.
You know what I mean?
Forget everybody else. We don't want them to have the same opportunities.
I made it. And that's it.
Elon Musk should have been deported years ago.
And we're not making this up, guys. Go look at the clip. Like, he talks about it, that they were illegal.
Yeah, I've got the clip. All right, let me see here. Because like I said, guys, this dude is... Yeah, he's cuckoo. Nope. So he's doing a virtual town hall, and at every one of these, he's giving away $1 million. You guys were just talking about Starlink. Here he is complaining because apparently the Wall Street Journal published another misleading story about Starlink, and he's got him posting it out from SpaceX account. If you're threatening free speech, you're the fascist, and he shares it with American flags all over it. He shared Lex Friedman saying, "I hope this election is not a close one for everyone's sake. Go vote." Here's his latest $1 million giveaway. Her name is Shannon from Pittsburgh. Officially received her $1 million.
Do we know that these are real people or are they paid actors?
We'll find out. That I don't know yet.
Right. Just like that McDonald's. And the reason why I say this is like, look at that McDonald's scheme. You know, every single one of those people in line getting fries, praising Donald, all screened, paid individuals who were there for the job going to attend a closed McDonald's.
Can we just, real quick, like, that showed me how stupid people are. And what I mean by...
That's what showed you? That?
Okay, another thing that showed me how stupid they are. Because if you don't know that there's no way in fucking hell that they're going to put an apron on the president of the United States and have him stand at a freaking drive-thru and start handing out fries to random people that hadn't been somehow screened by the Secret Service, you're fucking stupid. So, yes, it was clearly a fucking photo op, and it was clearly a photo op aimed because they keep claiming that Kamala Harris didn't actually work at a McDonald's at 17 years old, and they keep saying that they asked McDonald's corporate. Well, I just want to remind everybody that if you have a McDonald's franchise, that they don't have to report who they fucking hire and fire to corporate, so they wouldn't necessarily have a record of her working there fucking anyway. No. And the other thing that they used to say that she never worked at McDonald's is because she didn't put it on her resume for her first law job. And I was like, I don't put Farmer Jack's on my fucking applications either.
No.
Or Jet's Pizza for that matter. Like,
right.
It's just, they don't have anything on this woman.
No.
And the more they try, the dumber they look. And it's like, oh, well, why hasn't she fixed anything in the last 3.5 years? Because she's not president. Did Donald Trump push a whole lot of Mike Pence's agenda when he was vice president? Right. I don't recall.
Or JD, what's your agenda while underneath the Trump presidency?
Yeah, his agenda is if you have childcare, his whole plan to fix childcare for you is hopefully you have a family member that can stay home with them.
That's right.
That's their solution.
That's right. Get mom and pa. Get them to
help because everybody's got somebody in their family that they get. And by the way, if you've got somebody in your family that doesn't have a day job and that you could leave your kid with, they're probably somebody that you wouldn't want to fucking leave your kid with anyway. You know what I mean? Just saying.
It is something quite.
It's like their solutions aren't real solutions.
No. But I've really come to terms that there's two races that are taking place. And it's the one where Kamala has to prove every single detail of her thought out plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this, rotting pumpkin who literally has to just make shit up and just go along with the flow. Because I honestly think that he's not trying because he feels that it's going to be taken on the back end. And I want to say that one more time for everybody. I really feel like he's not trying hard because he was told of how it's going to work for him to become president on the back end.
Yeah.
You just show up, you keep doing all this, you keep distracting, you just keep being this sideshow. And we'll focus on the legal aspect of this. And we will get you through the courts and through fighting to get those electoral college votes.
Yeah. And that's
the part where I find this to be a little dangerous.
Well, it is dangerous, and I think, as some people in the comments are pointing out, sorry, I just saw something from my brother. But J.D. Vance, if you look at what they were saying about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris before Joe Biden dropped out, it was like, oh, Joe Biden can't put together a sentence and blah, 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 and what's going to happen? We don't have anybody to take over. It's like they completely overlooked Kamala.
Yeah.
But yet the whole fucking agenda is like Donald Trump is Joe Biden now. He is the senile motherfucker that can't remember what he said yesterday. Like, he is terrible. He's 78 years old, and you will never get me to believe whatever those doctors are putting out about his cholesterol numbers and his blood pressure.
Hell no.
Like,
his chart screams, fuck! Like,
dude.
It's not healthy.
Cholesterol is going to do its job sooner rather than later. And J.D. Vance, is he really the person that we want
He is.
Oh my
he's
God.
dangerous. He's dangerous. I will say, because he's very intelligent. He plays stupid because he knows who his base is, and he really does try to play. He tries to dumb it down, but he's very intelligent. And then I would say watch out for his wife, who they are opportunists. They will throw you under the bus so quick to have that taste of power. Yep. And that, to me, when you're that kind of hungry, you can't be trusted.
No. And that really is the bottom line. These people have proven time and time again that they cannot be trusted.
No.
And again, I'm just going to say, if you're law enforcement and you're voting for Donald Trump, you're a dumb fuck. Like, do you not remember the videos that we have of January 6th of his supporters beating the shit out of your fellow
It was
officers?
A love fest. It was a love fest.
Love fest with, flag poles with the American flag on it, and they're beating the crap out of officers with them.
Keep in mind, those were also off-duty police officers beating other police officers.
Getting
Back
tased in the neck.
Yeah.
Like, tased in the neck can kill you easily.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
People died that day, and then people died of their own PTSD afterwards. Took their own life or whatever the case was, which is so tragic. But these are the same people who scream back the blue. And you just sit there and you go, not what we meant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I didn't understand it in 2020. I didn't understand the 64 million people that voted for him then, or however many it was. And I don't understand now. I
go back to your original question at the top of the show. I think a lot of the message has been hijacked to muddy the waters because they want to be prepared for how bad he's going to lose. So they could have Stop the Steal 2.0.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's already posting things saying that the machines are already flipping votes in Georgia.
You know what I mean?
Like, she already started. So it's just insane. So again, before we move on, I just want to go back to this because I don't feel like we got to any of the worst of it.
No, please.
And like I said, you can see the stuff he's reposting. Like, it's just ridiculous. Voter ID laws are a threat to democracy. I have to show my ID to vote. I don't know any Democrat that has a problem showing their ID to vote. Like, the problem is that a lot of these bills that get put forth aren't just, show your ID to vote. They always have some shit tied to it that would allow them to go after people. That's what Democrats are always against.
Right.
They're, like, most places you have to show your fucking ID.
ID to vote, and we get to kick in your fucking door like Rambo style. Like, what? No.
I just re-registered. I had to put my freaking driver's license number in.
Right.
Like, I had to provide an ID in some way, shape, or form to do what I did. And I think everybody does. Like, I don't know anybody in my life that has told me, I voted and I didn't need to show an ID. Everybody has had to provide an ID or have some type of verification.
I'm gonna give a shout
stop
out
with the bullshit.
I want to give a shout out to Brian, what he just posted. There's something interesting about this. It's the top of the one.
Read it.
My sis is voting for Trump, knowing that our mom went through World War II Germany.
Oh, what she went through in World War II, yeah.
Yeah. What I'm going to say to everybody is that I want everybody to remember this. Hitler was elected. He was a failed attempt coup, and then he came back and won the election the following election.
Yeah.
And then that was the last election they had until he was removed. This is how it works. Think about Turkey. Turkey had an election, and then they started removing certain elements of democracy.
Like, look at this.
Which then is what leads you to where we're at today.
He's sharing shit from Charlie Kirk. Again, questioning voter IDs. Sharing, he keeps sharing this dude's bullshit. Going through Midtown Tunnel, driver from LaGuardia into NYC as a lifelong Democrat. You'd have to be insane to vote for her. Again, all these voting for Trump the first time. Like, everybody that I see post that, it's like, okay, so you're a racist piece of shit. Like, that, no, fuck that. Because listen to me. All these pieces of shit, And I'm talking about Jeff Bezos, the Washington Post, the LA Times, and all these pieces of shit online. They keep posting. They had no problem endorsing Biden. They've had no problem endorsing anybody. Now all of a sudden, when it's the black woman that fucking takes over, now all of a sudden everybody starts fucking pulling their endorsements, unions, freaking out. This bullshit.
It's more sexism than anything else.
That's both.
But I do
because they talk about, oh, she's not really black every fucking minute of every day.
Right. And I forgot that she went to an Indian historical Indian college.
Insurrection Barbie. This is Elon Musk sharing this shit. This woman posts nothing but crazy shit.
It's interesting to me to see what
immigrant fear mongering.
But Ryan, when you say that they're first time
Tulsi Gabbard,
Trump, yeah, she's crazy. When they say that they're a first time Trump supporter and that they've been a lifelong Democrat, this is just people's bullshit online. None of it's true. How many of these are bots?
Well, that's on a car. That was on a car in the New York tunnel. But
again,
yeah, Tulsi Gabbard came out today. Like she's full blown fucking right wing nut job now. Which again, called that one about 3-4 years ago.
Right. I wonder what position in the cabinet that she's trying to get.
Yeah. More transgender hate from Elon Musk. No wonder his transgender daughter fucking hates him. I love the fact that Elon feels comfortable posting photos of his kids online, because every time I post a photo of my kids online, his supporters send me death threats. So must be nice to have that kind of protection and feel that comfortable doing that. Here's another $1 million winner, or a couple of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, 6 million we've seen him give away this week. Like, this is so if you don't have a fucking problem with that, like, come on.
Well, I don't. You're trying to buy loyalty, and I'm just like, you know what? Keep spending your money because
no. But if you don't have a problem with the legality of that,
oh no, it's complete fraud.
Yeah, that's the problem I have. We're just allowing these pieces of shit, him and Trump and Bezos and all these motherfuckers. We just keep allowing them to do what they're doing. It's like, oh, they're clearly breaking the law, but is anybody going to do anything about it? Nope.
Well, this is the question where we have to challenge the laws because of how dark money works in politics. And the one thing that I would say about Trump's first presidency and what we're leading into now in present day is that they really actually started making us all pay attention to politics. Like, there's a lot of things I did not know about going into Trump's presidency, being a lot of that gray area that he tested, where we're having the conversation. Can a vice president stop the election?
Post.
Do you know what I mean? Like, can they do that? Or is it a rubber stamp of approval on the day of January 6th?
Another $1 million from Jason from Michigan. What the fuck is this?
I wouldn't be surprised
that I had to show my ID to buy this stupid thing, but did not have to show my ID to vote for president. You did have to show some type of ID. You're fucking lying. Like, you don't just walk in and they'd be like, oh, here's the thing to vote. They literally ask, who are you? What's your address? Verify who the fuck you are.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to show ID itself.
I have to show ID. I
In
literally
Arizona.
have to give them my driver's license number.
In New York, I do not have to do that.
But is there anything? Are they passing laws that you don't have to fucking show ID?
In New York, I go to my voting desk. I know my number. I say I'm Ian Sherman. I go through. I say what my county is.
But you've already been verified.
Correct, but this is where they're trying to have their talking points. That just because I'm walking in there and I'm not showing ID, they're like, see, you could vote twice. It's like, no, you can't, because once I vote, my hands, I have to sign right next to my name. I am who I am. You're
verifying with your signature. You already verified when you registered to vote with your fucking ID. Right. It's stupid.
Right.
If you buy into this shit, you're a moron.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that the smartest guy in the world is posting this shit shows you he doesn't know shit. And oh, by the way, there's been 2 or 3 times that he's been flagged on his own fucking platform this week alone for posting election misinformation.
That's amazing.
So again, please stop.
He fired that bot.
Look at it. His whole fucking page is nothing but simping for Donald Trump. And he is trying to say that this platform is central, moderate. Bullshit.
No.
And again, you're supporting a felon, a business fraud, an adjudicated rapist, an accused fucking pedophile, and a domestic terrorist that tried to overthrow our government, and literally refuses to say that he wouldn't condemn it if it happens again.
The swimsuit model just came out as well.
Who?
Swimsuit. Let me see. She just came out. She said that it's just another
Swimsuit
one.
model.
It's another one. What's Sports Illustrated swimsuit model?
I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sports Illustrated model came out saying about Trump that she was groped by Trump.
Oh, yeah. I haven't spread that because I
haven't not verified for you. You're not doing it.
Yeah, I really don't want to be one of the people spreading that without like this close to the election and having it come out that it's fake.
CNN is talking about it. ABC News, NPR, they're all talking about it. But
they must have gotten some more of it. Well, no, because this started either yesterday or the day before, and I didn't want to post it because it started out as a young girl claiming she got groped by Trump, and I was just like, okay, but where's the source? Where's the information? Like, where are you guys getting this? And I didn't see anything, so they must have gotten verification or something. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to spread it at the time because I didn't know.
Well, she's talking about the times where Trump and Epstein were very close, and she was around all that, and she's being groped by Trump. So just remember, he was real close with Epstein back in the day.
Well, again, they keep trying to be like, oh, but he stopped letting him in his thing. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Again, it's just disheartening to see how many Americans fall for this and then literally justify it to themselves by, attacking people like us, who have receipts and facts and information and calling us, fascists and whatever other names they come up with. But they never can challenge the information we have. You can call me names, you can call me Dumbo, call me anything you want. I don't old, my beard's crooked. I don't give a fuck. You can say anything in the world, but you know what you're not saying? You're not challenging the fact that I claim that he's a felon, a rapist, a business fraud, an accused pedophile, and a domestic terrorist. And it never gets flagged on social media for being misinformation. And you want to know why? Because it's a fucking fact.
That was a good.
So try not voting for that guy, okay?
That was a good lean back.
Thank you.
You've been taken from Fat Joe.
I was listening to the podcast the other day, and I said something loud, and I was like, "You need to lean back when you do that."
You need to lean back.
Lean back. So the last thing I want to talk about before we go into last couple things, we touched on a little bit, but I want to read a few things. Jeff Bezos, the Washington Post had a Kamala Harris endorsement typed out, ready to go, ready to print. And apparently Jeff Bezos stepped in and killed it. So
what was his reasoning?
The Washington Post said that an endorsement of Kamala Harris over Donald Trump had been written but not published. Those sources told the Post reporters that the company's owner, billionaire Jeff Bezos, made the decision. The Post's move comes the same week that the Los Angeles Times announced a similar decision, which triggered the resignations of its editorial page editor and 2 other members of the editorial board. Many American newspapers have been dropping editorial endorsements in recent years. That is in large part because at a time readership has been dwindling, they don't want to give remaining subscribers and news consumers a reason to get mad and cancel their subscriptions. Martin Barron, the Post executive editor for from 2012 to 2021, immediately condemned the decision on X, saying it empowers Trump to further intimidate Bezos and others. This is cowardice, with democracy as its casualty. Disturbing spinelessness at an institution famed for courage. And I want to just remind folks, if you aren't up on the history of the Washington Post, is that they were owned by a woman at the time when Watergate went down. And they were printing stories that nobody else was going to post. And it was because of those posts that the Watergate thing
it all
went the way that it did.
Okay.
And after that fact, the Washington Post started endorsing presidents, starting with Jimmy Carter. And I think it was 78. Don't quote me on the 78. But the first president they endorsed was Jimmy Carter. So
who turned 100 and still voted for Kamala Harris.
Yep, he made it.
He lived in high. First off, this is to everybody. This motherfucker, respectfully, is in hospice. And this motherfucker, respectfully, got his ass up to vote for Kamala Harris. This motherfucker, respectfully, literally showed up on his deathbed to vote for the first Madam President.
Yep.
You have no excuse but to show up, turn out, and make sure your voice is heard.
Yes, sir. So
I love that story.
It's just, it shows you how determined he was, you know.
He's like, I can die now. I can go.
Dude, honestly, I'm
so tired. I'm so tired.
And again, I don't feel horrible saying this because the dude's 100-something years old, but the best exclamation point on it would have been if he voted and the next day fucking died and just been like, I made it. I'm done. I'm out.
He
going to be with my wife now. Yep.
He's been in hospice this entire time.
For like a year.
It's been a year. It's been a year and some change.
And for those who aren't familiar with hospice, unfortunately I am. Hospice is like, it's meant to be short-term care. It's meant to be like
max.
Yeah, like you're supposed to be within weeks or months of your demise.
He has a president's health care plan. Okay,
true. Yeah, he has a health care plan most of us don't have. Yeah.
We go to Walgreens. They do not. Okay?
But you know what? As many houses as that man built over the years, I don't mind paying for his health care little bit.
He's done so much. He has done so much.
No, like you said, much respect to him and his family. It's not hard. It's not easy watching somebody like that, that you love dwindle away on hospice. Right. So, right. And I've seen recent pictures of him. He looks, looks rough.
But his mind was there, and he said, "I'm voting for Kamala."
Yep, that's the one thing about him. It's like no matter how rough he looked, as soon as he started talking, you're like, "That's still him. He's still there."
Still him.
So last thing, on Twitter, there was this big account called the Black Insurrectionist, and they spread a bunch of right-wing conspiracy theory. And basically, the premise was, well, I'm black, and I support this right-wing bullshit. Well, it came out today that the persona behind the widely circulated election conspiracy theories was traced to a man from upstate New York. And he's like a 50-year-old white man.
Hey, my man.
They can't even find any real black people to do this shit.
I told you, man. Blacks for Trump, man. It's a real thing. As in, it's the biggest con ever because this is where they're trying to go with misinformation. They're like, we're getting the black vote. It's like, no, man, y'all just literally in blackface. That's all you are. Digital blackface.
Yeah.
Y'all don't surprise me. You don't.
Nope.
You don't.
Nope. And it doesn't surprise me to find out that and these
I know
people,
that there's black conservatives.
Oh, there's black conservatives.
Look ain't finding them on that fringe level.
Look at Ben Carson.
Ben Carson can't even find himself. This is
right.
This is a room.
Like I hear him talking, I'm like, this dude is like a brain surgeon.
Was.
Yeah, I think somebody operated on his brain.
I think he operated on himself. Okay. I think that's literally what happened. I got
this. I'm going to fix this right here.
This side, and look at this room we're in. It's like, why?
Can he operate on Trump?
And you know what's wild is he's from Detroit, and I want to give him so much credit. I want to praise him. Look at this brilliant man from Detroit doing his thing. Nah, we ain't taking that one.
And then I think back to
he can hang out with Jimmy Hoffa.
The white people in my life that I discovered were really just closet racists, whether they realized it or not. And they would always be like, "But look at Ben Carson." I'm like,
they're my favorite. They're my favorite. I love a good closet racist. Let me tell you, I just feel like it's a warm blanket on America. It feels so good.
I mean, yeah, more like a warm blanket, like that old warm blanket that you've had for years. That
the moth flies off.
Yeah. But yet feels so comfortable for some reason. Yeah.
You look like Linus from Peanuts. Is it? your dirty ass blanket away from me. You know that kid smelled like piss. Get the fuck away from me.
Oh yeah, dude. He was that kid in school that you were like, please, just over there.
Don't be on my team. Don't be on my team. I'll deal with it.
It was like the kid that always came into football and always smelled horrible. And it was like the locker room was already horrible, dude. Like, can you just fucking shower, please?
You could take a shower.
Like, please. You're killing us.
You can take a shower.
You're killing us. Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting week and a half till the election. We need to stay focused, need to stay vigilant. But most importantly, we need to stay safe out there. As I think a lot of us have noticed, there's definitely some unrest going on in certain places. So, just keep your head on a swivel, be aware of what's going on around you. And, if people come approaching you and it feels weird and the hair's up on the back of your neck, get back in your car and leave. Just don't even engage. Don't even bother.
There's no point arguing with anybody.
Nope. Don't be intimidated. Don't bother.
Show up, do your job,
and go home.
End the story.
Yep. And
you don't need to argue with anybody. Let them wear their cult memorabilia and their bullshit, and just get out there, do your civil duty, vote, get out. Here in New York, voting starts tomorrow. The last day for registering to vote is tomorrow as well.
Ooh, good information.
In New York, and that's just for New York, guys, where I'm talking from. And we start tomorrow, and like I said, we have a game plan. We always made our game plan. Mine's Sunday. I'm gonna go vote. I know that it's a different location where our vote is for early voting versus the day of voting. So again, know your information, know what's going on, know the times, and if it doesn't look right at that day, you have time. Come back.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But at the same time, you should feel safe when you guys go there. I don't know how it is in other states, in other counties, other cities, but here where I'm at, ain't nobody coming up on me like that. I'm telling you right now. In my area in Brooklyn, we already know where we stand.
And I just want to add on to that, to piggyback a little bit, that there are polling locations, and right now I'm speaking specifically about Arizona, but I'm sure this is probably a problem in other states as well. But here, there are polling locations that in schools that will not be open this year because the schools have opted not to participate out of safety concerns.
Yeah.
So make sure you double check where your polling locations are, because just because it was a polling location in 2020 or even 2022 doesn't mean that it will be one this year.
That's
so
right.
Like Ian said, please check your information. Make sure you know where your polling location is, for sure.
I got my tag on the back of it.
Why is your camera always
Is it flipped around? Is it flipped around?
Yeah.
Hold up,
it's set on dyslexic.
The way I live.
I shouldn't say that.
It's okay. It's all right. I'll take it.
My wife's dyslexic too, so.
Yeah, man, it's my superpower. It's all
yeah.
right. And I see you over there.
She works. You know what, dude? Like, but all joking aside, watching Jen, work with her dyslexia, it's definitely interesting to watch. It's just interesting to see how people work around whatever their
it is, man.
whatever
Those
their
hurdles.
Perceived hurdle. Thank you. That's a good word for it.
It's a hurdle. That's all it is. And we're ready for that race.
Yep.
You could train for it, or you could run into it and you can keep falling.
Yep.
I'm hopping over those bad boys, and I'm sure Jen does the same thing. Some of the most amazing people are dyslexic.
I think Dominic might be. He's starting to kind of write things, and he'll be like,
things backwards. You see, I mean, look, you've dealt
and
with it.
And that's literally what he'll
camera.
tell me. He'll be like, Dad,
he's
like, that's not what I. And I'm like, I know, son, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to. Okay, you might be. It's okay.
And it's all right. It's all right. It's again, it was the worst in the school system because it's not built that way. Normal
definitely wasn't back then,
especially back then. But when I look at like what I do outside of this and as a profession, it's my superpower. Because the way I see everything, the way I can deduce or re-engineer a situation, be that a room.
It forces your mind to work different. Yeah.
Completely. And it really helps you to it helped me at least when it comes to certain work ethic. I put in twice the work, or sometimes 3 times the amount, to read a page I would have to read it 3 times before I understood the information because I had to comb through. So that level of detail then started being implemented to everything I did.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where, you just have to find, a way to work around it. Or like I
Yeah.
said, the hurdle, hop over it.
It's really interesting. It's just another one of those reminders of how, amazing our brains really are.
Yeah.
At the end of the day that we can compensate, and just figure out ways to work with whatever life gave us.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. I mean, it's, our little weird talents or, hindrances that we champion. So it is what it is.
So,
but get out and vote.
Yes, please make sure you get out and vote. This is the culmination of years of work. It's the culmination of 30, almost 40 episodes of this show.
Yeah.
We'll keep going once this election's over, but this is a huge milestone for our country, and it's such a necessity. I really do. When I say that I feel Kamala Harris is the best person for the job right now, I really do mean that. I don't agree with her on everything, but I agree with her on the major stuff. And most importantly, I know that if it's between her and Donald Trump, that I have way more faith in her and way more trust in her. And if anything, Donald Trump had his shot, and he didn't do very good the first 4 years. So you know what? It's time to give her a shot. More importantly, it's time to give a woman a shot running this country, because men have been doing it for about 230 years. And if you haven't noticed, we could have done better. So let's give a woman a shot. Let's see how that goes, because she's qualified. She's experienced. Again, you're comparing a lifelong businessman who failed at a lot of them and started with a fortune from his family to a woman who literally worked her way up from a middle-class family and went to college, passed the bar exam, whether it was on the first try or not.
That's right.
Became a district attorney, then was the attorney general for the state of California, became a senator, and is our current vice president. So you can't sit there and tell me that this woman hasn't literally climbed her career ladder and achieved the top echelon of each rung that she hit. This woman is ready for this job. And more importantly, she is also going to be the best projection that we could possibly have right now on the international stage. Do you think that these other countries want to work with Donald Trump? The only countries that want to work with Donald Trump are our enemies.
Yeah.
Everybody else wants to talk to Kamala.
And that's not working with. They know they can control.
They can know that they can control him.
Yeah. Because Kamala, they're afraid of.
As they should be.
That's what they are literally, all these men are afraid of. She is the most qualified. She is more qualified running for president right now than Barack Obama. She is more qualified to run for office than Kennedy.
Yep.
She has way more experience than some of the top men who have been president. And another thing, we're talking about handing the keys over to a woman where America is in complete disarray right now. We are on the brink of American citizens not really wanting to communicate with each other and being on the fringe.
Yeah.
We're talking about literally nothing but men running this country to get it to the place it is today. And now, only now, with trouble out in the Middle East, things happening with NATO, America having this soft little civil war of us. And I don't like to use the term either. And you know that, Ryan. Mm-hmm. But for us to be at this place where we just cannot, we have alternative
We can't ignore
it. We can't ignore it. But this world where we are in, and now we're only really leading into the idea of a woman running for president and actually being the closest. Shirley Chisholm, Hillary Clinton, and now standing on their shoulders is Kamala Harris. And it's like, this is the closest we are. Mm-hmm. Let's get her over the finish line because it's time to break that ceiling, that glass ceiling.
And two, I think she picked the right running mate. I think that's important to highlight as well.
Yeah.
And with that, I'll say, just get your ass out and vote. Because I honestly, I've said this before, I hope you vote for Kamala. What really matters to me is you get out and vote, because your voice needs to be heard one way or the other, whether I agree with you or not. But the one thing I hope we can focus on that Ian said earlier is at some point we are going to have to work together again. We are going to have to figure this shit out. And it's not going to happen tomorrow, but it needs to happen soon. So keep that in mind when you go into the voting booth, because there's one group of people that are extremely divisive. There's another group of people that you may not agree on everything, but they're at least trying to represent the majority.
Right.
So with that, what's your positive, brother?
Kamala's in Texas hanging out with Beyonce. That's my positive. I've been waiting for Beyonce to be on stage with her.
Yep, we've got Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Eminem.
But we're talking about the individual whose theme song is her song.
Yeah. We've all been waiting for it. I'm glad they waited till honestly, it makes more sense now. I know we wanted it in the beginning, but now, like the last week and a half, it really makes a lot of sense to have her be the final push.
Looking at the stadium, not that little local fair that Trump goes to, but the actual stadium that they're about to have this event at, that bad boy is packed. It looks busy. And then we're talking about hours before anybody's actually going on.
And by the way, I'm going to predict right now what the whole right wing's going to say. They didn't go to see Kamala Harris. They went to go see a concert. That's going to be what they all post.
Hey, a concert's a concert and Kamala's headlining. I don't care. Say what you want, boo-boo.
They're just mad they're stuck with Lee Greenwood and Kid Rock.
And that's what everybody's talking about. They're like, we have Bruce Springsteen, Billie Eilish, Cher, Eminem, and also Stevie Wonder, and Beyonce. And who do you have?
Taylor Swift. Yeah, they're fucked.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah. You've got Elon Musk.
Oh, please.
Have fun with that.
Can't even play a banjo. Get out of here.
But that's the funny thing. Again, if Elon Musk had stayed out of this election, Trump wouldn't even be where he is now. He wouldn't even have a chance.
I don't even know how I'd feel about Elon if he stayed out of the election. I think it's very crystal clear.
To have a sliver of respect for him.
Yeah, but I think it's crystal clear to see kind of where things are. And we mentioned it briefly about Eileen Cannon, and for all those who are paying attention and for those who aren't, she was a judge in Florida who dismissed his espionage case. Yep. And don't get it twisted, that's what it was. He stole documents and he would not give them back, and he made it a massive, massive issue where Mike Pence, Joe Biden, and Trump all had more documents in their homes, and both Pence and Biden were like, go through and take whatever. We apologize. This is it. We are giving these to you. Come to my house freely. Trump did not do that. This is a reminder, guys. And now she is on a short list for AG within his new Project 2025 administration. And they're saying, and keep in mind, this may happen within a week, the 11th Circuit Court might strike down her dismissal of the case and remove her from the case and reinstall it for Jack Smith. So we'll see. There's a lot of things that are on the what if docket.
Yep.
And it all comes down to, do you want to finally see people of privilege and of the 1% held accountable?
I do.
That's what your vote is all about this year.
Yeah.
If he is not president, you will see somebody held accountable.
Yeah. I think so.
Plain and simple.
I can't wait for the 30 days or so in between when Kamala wins and Joe Biden can just do whatever the fuck he wants for 30 days.
I feel like he's already doing whatever the fuck he wants.
But he's waiting till the election's done. Then he's going to be like, oh, see these executive orders right here?
Oh, man, I'm waiting for that ultimate immunity that he has. You can do whatever the hell you want, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. You can do what you want. You can do it on the way out the door, Joe.
You want. They can't do nothing.
They can't do nothing. And besides,
what's your positive? We didn't talk about yours.
My positive is we don't have a soccer game this weekend, so I'm going to get to sleep in.
Isn't it great that a child's punishment is an adult's dream?
Bro.
He's like, I'm grounded. I ain't talking to nobody. I am
crying. Yeah. I'm like, man, unplug my phone. Let me have a day. No, I'm having such a blast coaching the kids.
I believe it. You can explain.
Yeah, our last game, we won 13-0, and I felt bad. and I was even trying to start, like I was starting to pull.
At what point did you say put the foot on their neck, and then you said don't lift up? At what
at
score
about
were
nine,
you like?
9. It was the last quarter.
You ain't catching up. He said y'all ain't catching up.
Well, I was starting to tell him, like, it's okay to like let them, come up the field a little bit. Like, you ain't gotta steal the ball right away and go score. Like, make it a game. And they just kind of looked at me like, And I told the other coach, I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, it's hard to get them to like, hey, don't go out there and play your hardest. Like, you know what I mean? So it just was what it was, man.
I would not be saying it. If I was their coach, I'd be like, get them.
I was like, yeah, it was.
I'm like, y'all should have been 21. All right, we playing 21 and
bro.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was bad. Like I started switching goalies. Like I put my smallest guy in the goal to maybe they'd be able to score. Man, this dude's out there like Spider-Man, fucking stopping balls. I'm like, God. I was like, well, that didn't work.
Oh man, brought the spider webs too.
He was like jumping up, like hitting the. I'm like, oh my God.
You got Pele out there.
Yeah, my team's pretty good, and
but you have a very diverse team, right?
Oh yeah, we've got 3 girls. The rest are boys. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All walks of life. Everybody's doing their thing.
Man. And the cool thing is I got this one girl, man. She's like, she goes out there and like she plays. Like she'll elbow and like she wants the ball.
She's making boys cry.
And she scored her first goal this past weekend.
Oh.
And the coolest part was like coaching. The hardest part about coaching for me is one, deciding who gets to play and who doesn't. Like when you're subbing and all that, because they all want to play the whole time. So, you always feel bad having to pull people. And then I always, it's always weird or it can be questionable when you're trying to coach the kid. And she was being a little too rough. And I had to pull her over. And I was like, hey, just, I'm not telling you don't fight for the ball and stuff, but, you're shoving a little too much. Just bring it down a little bit. And at first, like, then she didn't want to engage at all. Like, and I didn't yell at her or anything. And I didn't say it in front of anybody else. Like, it was like, came down to her level and just
gave
like
her Ryan Rant, right in her ear.
Man, just like I'm talking to you right now. I was just very chill.
Look here right now. You ain't gonna push nobody.
So
listen to me.
But once, and then I yelled out, I was like, no, get in there, and so then she started, but she ran up and I could tell that she was thinking about it. She ran up and normally she would have gone and kind of shoved a little bit and I could tell she pulled up and I clapped real hard and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And then 3 minutes later she scored. So it was just kind of like, those moments of, the coaching can be hard, but if they buy into it, you can tell when they buy into it. It's like, okay.
Oh man, I love that.
So
I love hearing you as a coach, man. It just warms my heart just hearing how this whole process has come for you, especially from day one where you're like, I got these kids don't have a coach. I guess I'm going to do it. To you're like, well, we just beat that ass. I didn't know why
we're undefeated.
We had to do them like that, but we did it. But that's wonderful. That's really wonderful, and it's a well-deserved day of relaxation.
Yeah,
we know that
the parents deserve it too.
Oh, kids deserve it. They can do whatever they want, right? You don't have them doing any practices.
The bad thing is these kids, man, they wanted to play. They wanted to. They literally asked me. They were like, "Hey, coach, can we have a practice on Saturday instead of a game?" Wow. And I was like, "No,
no." You didn't have no bass in your voice. No, please, no, please, no.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting anything ready for Halloween?
Dude, we have.
This is the weekend before Halloween,
bro. So Halloween in my household is usually like almost more important than Christmas. And this year, as it should be, this year, because I've been so busy and Jen's been so busy and, we're doing things we haven't been doing before. I'm coaching soccer. That takes up a lot of time, takes up 3 solid days out of the week. Yeah. So we haven't even decorated yet. And so my neighbor and I are going to be scaring the kids. So I was like telling Jen, I'm like, we gotta set everything up. So our decorations are going to be up for like a whopping 5 days, but we're still going to put them up so I can scare all the kiddies. And I look forward to that. I'm going to have some video for y'all after Halloween because I got the camera. I got the cameras now.
That's so good. So good.
Yeah.
I go all out. This year is not the year. like we said, we got a new baby boy on the way. So hopefully, that's not the spawn of Damien or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned, America. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
They always say the second one, not like the first. Not like the first.
Our second, honestly, he started out rough, just because of how he was born. But after that, he was.
But he's not like the first.
No.
Yep.
They're very different.
They're different.
But that's everybody. That's everybody.
But that's
your
my
kids
point.
are always good at different personalities.
You have your first one. You're like, oh, I really like this feeling. Let's have another one. What the were we thinking? Like, okay.
Yeah, two is definitely different because when it's one, you
outnumber them.
Well, not even that. It's just all your attention is on that one kid. All the photos, all the presents, all the everything. It's all about them.
Oh yeah.
And then when you have the second one, it's like then the first one starts feeling upset because you don't have the same kind of time you had before. Right. So they feel that change. Right. And then, that's why I feel like it's good to have them close together because the farther apart you have them, the more they feel that change.
Yes.
And because ours were so close, I don't think Liv really felt that change, because they really are pretty close in age. Right. So, we didn't have a ton of problem. They were like best friends from the start.
I love that.
Yeah. No, she was very protective of him. Like, and when they used to go to daycare, she wouldn't let anybody mess with him. The girls at the daycare would tell him, she'd be like, oh yeah, somebody came up and tried, pushed him down, like just kind of pushed him down on his butt. And Livy came over and like shoved him.
You didn't touch my brother.
That's right. You don't touch
my brother. He was already 5 foot at that point. They're like, who is a grown teacher swinging at a child? They're like, no, that's another child.
Yeah, that's my 5'5", 11-year-old. Jesus.
I love it. That's how my sister Ida was, man. She would look after me like no other. Yep. She didn't let nobody look at me the wrong way. I'm like, Ida, calm down.
But I also kind of I raised them that way.
Right.
I tell them all the time, I'm like, when it comes down to it, I was like, you two are all you have.
Yeah.
I'm like, you see somebody mess with your sister, you better go over there and end it.
Handle.
And I go and vice versa. You see somebody messing with your little brother, I said, you better go over there and be the big sister.
Yeah. Handle. For sure.
And they for all the shyness and all that stuff, the few times that I've seen them have to like bond together, I'm like, oh, these two fuck somebody up.
Double dragon. My man gave birth to
especially
Double
Dominic.
Dragon.
He's like, oh, you mess with my sister, I'm gonna bust you up.
I love that.
But that's just
gorgeous kids, man. You have gorgeous kids.
Yep. And by the way, I'm just gonna end it on this. That nasty Tucker Carlson clip that we watched. I want to just say the way that I raised my daughter, and the way that I raised her is I let my wife do the spanking. No, we really didn't spank our kids a whole lot. The only time I remember my wife ever really spanking Liv was she tried sticking something in a light socket. And like her just initial reaction was, spank her. And, but to me, that was one of those things that was like, that was a little warranted. You don't want her doing that again, know?
Right.
But just the more important thing for me was I didn't want her growing up thinking that a man should be putting his hands on her. And it really is that simple for me.
Yeah.
Like, it may be a spanking and you may think you're just parenting your child, right, but you're also conditioning your daughter to think that it's okay for a man to put his hands on her. And more importantly, you're conditioning your daughter to think that it's okay for a man to put his hands on you to correct your actions.
Yeah.
And
that's deep, man. That's breaking cycles right there.
And I very purposely said, nope, not going to do that.
Now, do you save all of that for Dominic then?
No, I really have the same parenting style with him.
Okay.
And I think it's probably just because I developed that parenting style with her first.
Right.
But no, with him, again, he doesn't really do anything though that requires that level of anger.
He doesn't get caught.
Oh, he's a little sneaky shit. He's gotten away with a few things, but our kids, they're kind of like the way we were, which is if Jen turns around and looks at our kids and gives them that look, they stop what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's just, you can tell those kind of parents. And even when we're at the soccer thing, Jen was telling Jen was sitting there waiting all the kids, and they were trying to get all the candy bars, and all the other parents were just kind of like hovering, whatever. Man, Jen stepped in and like said it with her chest, and all the kids instantly stopped.
Got in line. They look like the Van Trapp family.
Yep. Instantly stopped.
When
and I'm
blow
like,
this whistle, y'all can go ahead and exit.
it's just that level of parenting,
Yeah,
you know?
Hell
and we've taught our kids, I think we've taught our kids pretty well. You know, we've definitely sheltered them, but you know, we live in a time where I think if you have the ability to raise your kid differently, then do it.
It's inspiring, Ryan, because you're showing that there's other models to this. You know, there's other ways to do this, and that's more than just disciplining, but you know, education,
even the schooling, yeah, man,
school, everything, like the layers that are there. It's really inspiring. I have to say that to you and Jen.
Well,
you're doing a wonderful job. Wonderful job. And your kids look very happy.
Oh yeah,
that's something that I want to touch on. You know what's going on in the household when you see how the kids are. They look miserable. You're like, ooh, it's not a good place that they are at home.
Well, nobody gets to see the kids really, so I mean, I know you do when they come, but yeah,
well, like mine. Nobody sees them, but you see how happy this one.
Yeah, I see him. Yeah,
you know, and you're like, that's a lot of joy. Yep. Now, when Damien comes, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely been a blessing, you know. But again, I tell my kids all the time, you have a lot of things that I did not have. You have a lot of support that I did not have growing up. You know, like you have two parents over your shoulder, you know, trying to make sure that you're doing the right things.
Right.
I didn't have that. You know, like I had a single dad and he wasn't very engaged for quite a few years.
Right.
So, you know, it's just, I try to explain to my kids, like, there's a lot of things that I had to do that you're not going to have to do.
Right.
And it's like, but that's more on me. That's like, it's a gift to me.
Yeah.
Not to them. They'll never know the difference. But to me, I can look at my kids and know they have better support system. They have a better family. You know, they have parents that give a shit about their education. You know, they're well taken care. Like, there's all these things, and the fact that I have a wife too who values the same things,
right?
Who values the same stability in our family. You know, making sure the kids are taken care of first. You know, all those type of things. Like, you have to be on the same page with a lot of those things in a marriage. You know, if it's not going to tear you apart.
Absolutely.
And for Jen and I, thankfully, you know, we've had way more just moments of agreement and move on than we've ever had of, you know, disagreeing and having to, you know, work something out. Like, it's just been very easy.
It's amazing to see you guys as dynamic, especially to see the family, how it comes together. Speaking of, my mom is in the chat and she's giving you a big shout out. Now, what I will say to you is, you know, here she is coming as a little Oma on this chat, saying what she's saying, but I remember her as a fierce, you know, Wonder Woman warrior, whooping my ass up and down the block. Okay, and she is not the type that slaps. Okay, she kicks, punches. I think she even bit me once. I don't know, man.
But
I'm trying to block it. I'm still going through therapy to figure out. But this sweet old lady, I love you, Mom. Definitely was not. She was the enforcer.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, every Father's Day, I reach out to her and I say, Happy Father's Day. I go, thank you for all those ass whoopings you gave me. But it has, of course, corrected who I am.
You know, and again, we'll see what happens with Dominic down the road. You know, my dad broke a mirror with my head once. Oh, yeah. I came home way too late one night. It was a school night, and he was up waiting for me at the back door. Like, I always snuck in. And he literally grabbed me by my shirt, and like where my back door was, my bathroom was right next to it. And there was a mirror right there, like one of those closed mirrors.
Yeah.
And he just grabbed me and put me against the wall, you know, to just kind of, you know, scare the shit out of me. And when he did, my head just happened to like snap back and, you know, it cracked the mirror. And, you know, it was one of those moments where we both were in shock. Like, I was in shock, like, holy shit, my dad just shoved me up against the wall. And he was in shock, like, holy shit, I just broke a mirror with my kid's head. And, you know, but it was just one of those moments where he came down real quick, but he looked at me and he's like, you know, fuck. He's like, you know, you pissed me off so bad with this. Like, why would you disrespect me like that?
Right.
Like that. But that was, you know, how it all started, it was just interesting how it actually ended up being what brought it back down, because it just kind of snapped my dad out of it. Like, okay, that was a little too much.
He said 7 years bad luck. He says, God damn it, Ryan.
But no, just thinking back, and now as a parent, like, it's like you can kind of think, I can look back at his face and I'm like, I know exactly what he was thinking at that moment now.
Right.
Because I'm a parent and I know what I would be thinking if I did that. Like, fuck, I fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just, you know, again, one of the old times where they're like, you'll understand when you get older.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, they're right. I understand a lot more now.
I just saw a meme recently where it's like, you're a parent, like, you're getting older when you start agreeing with the villains of these stories. And I go, oh yeah, I absolutely watch Captain Hook. I'm there all day. Let's go.
Yeah. But you know, there's been a lot of stories that say that Captain Hook was actually the hero.
Yeah, because Peter Pan was stealing these kids. And look, I've been calling my son a codfish. All right. He's like, I'm not a codfish. I'm like, codfish.
The dreaded wooden spoon. Yeah. I caught a wooden spoon once. Yep,
yeah. We all know that one.
Yeah, caught a wooden spoon once.
Double OG right there, man.
But no, you know what? But again, here's to breaking generational cycles, doing better, knowing better.
We know more. We know more.
I think that's the big part of it. You know, we've learned. You know, hopefully a lot of us have learned from the previous generations, and you have to make that conscious effort to do better and be better.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you're going to have some days where you might not meet that. But you know, as long as you're trying, that's what matters.
That's it, man. Take it day by day.
Yep.
It really is.
So with that, I'll leave you as I always do with, make sure you get your ass out and vote. Much love. Keep fighting and stay safe out there.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.
We'll see y'all next Friday.